Hey guys, Miss Morgan here. Professor Dogwood asked me to come share a few things, and I said, you give me some Miltank milk, I'm totally down for it. So let's talk some science, okay? So we're going to talk about some of the real-world Pokemon the real-world animals that Pokemon are based on. And I absolutely love it because I love to imagine the same thing with mythological animals like the Pegasus or the Kelpie or fairy. Like, what would they be based on, and where do these stories come from? The unicorn. Oh, I can imagine if I saw an oryx, which is this really cool antelope with these curved horns, and if you look at them from the side, it looks like one long curved horn. I can totally imagine that. So I love that when they were coming up with Pokemon or pocket monsters, that they took inspiration. Almost all the Pokemon are based on real world things, whether it's an ice cream cone or keys or actual animals. So that's a few of the things I want to talk about today. And there are, again, most all of the animals are based on certain things. I really love that the Pokemon Emolga is actually based on the Japanese flying squirrel, which is sometimes called an Emolga, which I thought was really, really cool. The animal naming came first. And a lot of these, we're talking about real world animals. But remember, some of these actually come from a rich culture that is a lot of times Japanese in origin, sometimes Native American in origin, also sometimes different other countries like China or Korea in origin, which I love the backstories there. So I'm only going to touch on a little bit, but please research this. This is a really, really fascinating thing. So a few of the things I found on a few websites just because they had really good pictures. So hopefully you guys will be able to see. If I back up here, hopefully the clarity works. Of course, the caterpillar, Caterpie, is based on a caterpillar, but they're never just about one. Wrong way. They're never just about one caterpillar. They're specific animals these are based on, not just like, some of them are just like a horse, but when they're like Poliwag, based on very, very specific species, not just, this is a tadpole, but it's a very specific species of tadpole. So the Caterpie is based on the eastern tiger-tail swallow, which is a beautiful, beautiful butterfly when it is, gotta turn down the sun right now, is a beautiful caterpillar, and of course a beautiful butterfly. But as you can see, the false eyes, and now these are actual Caterpie's eyes, but if you imagine, these are actually not the eyes. The eyes are very, very small in these. These are false eye spots, because if I turn around, oh no, I can't see you coming and getting me, and so you're going to sneak up on me. But if I have fake eyes or eye spots on the back here, now, we're humans, we can tell, okay, those aren't real eyes. But if I'm a bird and I'm from really, really high up, I'm not aware, and I don't think I can sneak up, because a lot of times it is about the element of surprise. So those false eye spots are really useful because, just kidding, I'm looking at you, is what they think. So they're not going to be able to sneak up except for possibly the side. So these are false eyes. Of course, these are Caterpie's real eyes. Or are they? Dun dun dun. No, I think they are. Chattots are not just based on parrots. There are lots of parrots. There are macaws, which are really, really cool. Cockatiels and cockatoos, very big, very large. But this is based on collared lovebirds. These are not usually the lovebirds you find in pet stores, but lovebirds are lovebirds. They do form really nice knit pairs, but the coloration with the blues and the greens and that yellow, that's what this is inspired by. And of course, the musical inspiration, because they are chatterboxes. Mudkip is based on an axolotl. Now, I had an axolotl, if any of you guys were here when I had Wallace. This is a albino morph. The wild morph is a more kind of bluish, grayish color, so it makes sense that Mudkip's colorations are the same, but is a really cool thing, and makes sense with kind of the mud, the ground type there, since they kind of burrow in the mud. Of course, Mr. Mime, based on the animal of a, okay, not an animal, but a profession of a mime. And is very rich, of course, in Paris. And then Vileplume, again, not just on any flower. The same thing with Victory Bell, is not just on any plant, but is Victory Bell is based on a pitcher plant, which is a carnivorous plant that the flies and bugs and other things will fall into, and then it eats it that way, kind of like a Venus flytrap, but it's more passive. It's just kind of like a stomach. Now, fun fact, carnivorous plants don't eat it because they're hungry. They actually get fertilizer. So the soils that they're in are not really rich and nutritious, so they get those from that. But this is from this specific, it's from a carrion flower. Vileplume would be quite vile. It would smell like rotting meat. Ugh, right? Trubbish. Okay, we're not talking about that, but of course. Magikarp, probably is based on, it could be on a carp, it could be on the rockfish, and you might ask, like, how does a carp go to, this dragon? But that's, again, a rich mythology that is based on real mythos around the Asian dragons. Of course, I said Victory Bell, based on a pitcher plant. We have Stunfisk, is probably based on a flounder or a flatfish, where both eyes are. Now, as a baby, these are regular fish. They have eyes on both sides of their head, but as they grow into adulthood, just like a butterfly metamorphosizes, same thing's gonna go here, and basically that eye migrates to the front of the head. Now, it doesn't look like that. They kind of just look kind of cross-eyed, and their mouth is still on the side, not up here. But what they do is it just helps them hide from predators by going flat against the ground or burrowing in it, and it also allows them to grab food really quickly. So we were talking about camouflage before. Flounder and flatfish, which are a whole group of fish, are very easy at camouflaging themselves. Oh, this is one of the most beautiful little guys. So this is a type of marine slug, the Chromodorus laki, which is what Shellos is based on. But we know far more about space than we do about our own oceans, which I want to go and see what's at the bottom of the ocean. We haven't traveled to the deepest parts yet. Of course, crocodile is based on a crocodile. Just kidding, it's not based on a crocodile, because alligators have very, very wide mouths. Crocodiles have a little bit more of a narrow mouth. Alligators are more land-based. Crocodiles like to swim a little bit more. Alligators have a bigger biting strength, but crocodiles are a lot faster. But there's also caimans, which are like a small crocodile, different species, but or different group of animals, but looks like a miniature crocodile basically. And then there's the garl, which has this very, very long snout, just like the crocodile, which allows them to eat fish. They are very good in the water and very good at fishing. Love disc is the kissing gourami, which is a pucker-up fish. A lot of fish actually fight with their mouths. So, glad that's not how we fight. Ugh. So, Gurubus is based on another actual fish. Sandslash is based on, a lot of times people think armadillo, which is a relative of this, but this is something called the pangolin. And pangolins, look up a picture of them. It kind of shows you here. They always are kind of like, I'm sorry to bother you, but they always have their hands kind of like this. They're burrowers. I believe they're insectivores as well. But they always carry their hands and they're always like, I'm so sorry to bother you. So look up pictures, they're super, super cute. And this is the one, when this first came out, everybody's like, oh cool, look, he's got a little like suction pad. No, these are actually based on, lots of fish have this evolution. And then there's certain species of tadpoles that also have this. They're basically see-through, or what's called translucent. So that allows them to see what you think of as a sucker pad is actually his intestines. But it's actually, and then of course as they grow into adulthood, they get coloration, but coloration takes energy, and this allows them to blend in a little bit better. Now they do have some coloration on their back, which allows them to hide from, basically to go down on the bottom and hide from any bigger fish up top here that are going to eat them, or other frogs. And so the only part that's really see-through is the bottom, and that's just because coloration takes it takes energy, which is the ecological money that animals use is energy and food. And then we have drowsy. Now tapirs obviously have that long nose. They are not related to elephants. Any guess on what tapirs or tapirs, if you want to call them that, which is fine. I think there's 2 or 3 species of tapir. Of what they're related to. It's not the elephant. Did you say horse? It's the horse and the rhino, which is weird, right? It's because they have 3 toes. So they're an ungulate, or a hoof stalk, essentially is what we call them. And so they walk on their little tippy toes. And so if you look at a cow, they have 2 main toes and 2 little toes. So they're even-toed ungulates, which are called artiodactyla. And then there's odd-toed ungulates, which for a horse just has 1 toe. The hoof that they're walking on is 1 toe, so like Ponyta or Rapidash. But these guys have 3 toes. So again, even-toed, which would be like deer and cattle and sheep and all that, and antelopes. And then odd-toed ungulates, which would be horses and rhinos and tapirs, which are called Parasidactyla. I didn't come up with the names, it's just what the names are. So another few, I don't know if I can click that, another few Pokemon. Of course, like I said before, we have the Ninetales. One of my favorite ones is based on the Kitsune, which is a folklore about foxes that have basically sentience. They're tricksters, they like to play pranks, but they're pretty harmless. Then there's the Nogitsune, which is a more malicious or mean spirit. But these are based on a few more animals. So we have Charmander, which is based on the Chinese giant salamander. Now most salamanders are, about this big. The head of a salamander, like they're massive. Like I could pick it up and it would be bigger than like Ashland would be. They're a very, very big salamander. We don't have them around here. We do have some things which are called hellbenders, which are pretty big, but those are typically found in like Alabama and Georgia and stuff. They're a big salamander though. Dugong is based on the aptly named dugong, which is like a manatee. Not a manatee, but a relative of the manatee. Of course, we talked about that. Farfetch'd is actually based on, there's a cool history there, but the Sichuan jay is the bird that they believe it might be based on. We have Mankey is based on the Barbary macaque, which is a tailless species of monkey. So I don't know where they got the inspiration there. I feel so bad for Primeape's always so angry though. Pikachu might be based on a mouse. I know they call it the mouse Pokemon, but there's also an animal called a Pika, which is basically a small rodent that lives out west, which is pretty darn adorable, if I don't say so. We have Psyduck. Now Psyduck might just be based on a duck. I don't know what ducks that look like that though. So what they believe Psyduck is based on might be the platypus, which is a really cool animal because not only is it a mammal, it's got a bill, okay? The bill is to allow it to, it is so sensitive, it can sense electric currents and other things out in the water. And it has, of course, webbed feet, which is, otters have webbed feet. I mean, labs, like your golden retrievers and golden lab, or yellow labs and all that, they have webbed feet too. Lots of retrievers have webbed feet, like lots of dogs. But your dog doesn't lay an egg. So there are 3 animals alive today that lay eggs. There are 2 species of echidna, which if you play Sonic is what Knuckles is based on. And then there is 1 species of platypus, and they're all what we call monotremes. They lay eggs, but they're mammals. So they basically, what they do, they make milk, they have hair, which makes them a mammal. Mammal doesn't have to give live birth. And then they basically leak milk from their bellies, and the baby just kind of licks it off their belly, which is a way of nursing babies, an interesting way. Rattata is based on a rat. And the last things I want to talk about, which are really cool, a lot of people looked at Rhyhorn and Rhydon. We're not talking about the 3rd evolution. We don't talk about that evolution. So you look at them and you're like, okay, well, what is that? So they're based on rhinos, and the kind of rock typing is just because rhinos are so sturdy, and you can imagine almost if somebody were to tame them, and using them for battle. Now they never used, I don't think, that they used rhinos for battle, but they did use elephants. Elephants were used in battle, usually in Asian Indian elephants rather than the African elephants, but still pretty cool. So what I am going to task you with is Professor Dogwood asked me to give you a challenge. I know you guys have had a few other things, you had 2 other activities, but you need something actually challenging. And so what your challenge is today to earn your gym badge. Now remember, your parent or guardian should have that little bag to earn the one that says Tuesday. What you need to do is that you need to find an object around your house or in your backyard. So find something, the weirder the better. What I want you to do is I want you to draw out that as a Pokemon. So imagine it could be a chair, it could be a book, it could be lots of things, something that doesn't exist yet. So not just like, I made a dog into a dog type Pokemon. I made a Growlithe. But I want you to think about what would it look like? And also what would its name? So what does it look like? So draw it, and you can color it if you want. What is its name? Now a lot of these names come from kind of 2 words pushed together, but you can name it whatever you'd like. If you want to name it Bob, name it Bob. And then 3, I want you to think about what its type would be. And then if you want to go a step ahead and come up with some moves or some abilities that it might have, that's awesome. And again, what I'd love for you to do, because I know we can't interact because it's just through the computer monitor or the phone, is what I would love for you to do is for you to take pictures of that and send it to me or share it with everybody in the group, because I would love to see some of these creations. I'm going to try to do the same, and I'm going to send it. It might not be Tuesday, it might be by Wednesday that I'll send it. But if I challenge you, I need to earn my gym badge too. So Professor Dogwood will see you on Wednesday.